Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I'm going to present you all with a complete and comprehensive guide on how to obtain every exotic weapon and gear piece currently available in the Division 2, as well as explain how different exotics are sectioned off and decided upon as for where they will drop from, so that you have a good idea of where to expect future exotics in Year 4 to pop up at. In general, I always get tons of questions about how do I get X exotic, where do I have the best chances to find Y exotic, and the answer isn't always very clear cut, and so, especially since we're heading into a new era of content and loot, I figured this would be useful for a lot of you to have as a reference. With that said, let's dive into it. Just so you're aware, I will be leaving timestamps in the description to each individual exotic as I go over them in this video, so if you're curious for just a specific one or two that you're looking for, you can find that information much faster by using those down in the description. Let us now begin, and what I will first explain is that this video will not be divided up by each individual exotic. Rather, I'm going to explain the 4 drop sources for exotics in this game and list out each exotic that is included in that specific source, so that you're aware of where to find each and every one that you might be interested in getting. Let us start with the first source, Season Track Rewards. Now currently there are no season exclusive exotics in the game. This only occurs during the runtime of a new season, so the last time this happened was December of 2020 when Season 4 began, but it will again happen shortly with the commencement of Season 9 in TU15. And so what happens is, ever since Season 1, 2 new exotics get added per season. One is a reward for reaching rank 55 on the season reward track, one is at rank 95, and until that season concludes, those 2 exotics are exclusive to the season track and seasonal rewards. And so as I said, while this isn't currently applicable to any exotics in the game, it is a trend and system that we will see used moving forward in Season 9 and beyond. And then it's important to know that once Season 9 or any current season concludes, those 2 exotics get added to the general loot pool and are no longer exclusive to seasonal sources. So now let's talk about that next drop source that I just mentioned, the general loot pool. Before I get into the mechanics of it and how it works, let me list off all of the current exotic weapons and items that exist in it as of the making of this video, which is April of 2022. The exotic weapons and gear items that exist within the general loot pool are as follows: the Coyote's mask, the vial, the Tardigrade armor system, the Imperial Dynasty, the Waveform, the Acosta's go bag, the Memento, the BTSU Datagloves, the Sawyer's Kneepads, the Ninjabike messenger Kneepads, the Diamondback, the Merciless, the Chameleon, the Bullet King, the Pestilence, the Mantis, the Backfire, the Lady Death, the Sweet Dreams, and the Scorpio. Now that is a lot of exotics, no doubt, and what it means for them to be in this general loot pool is that you can acquire them anywhere in the game, from any content, missions, caches, the DZ, raids, etc. However, there are certain methods which can increase your chances to obtain them, the first and most obvious one being targeted loot. Let's say you're going for the BTSU Datagloves. You're going to want to go and farm them somewhere where the targeted loot is gloves, or you want the Merciless exotic rifle. You're going to want to farm targeted rifles. This is of course why the Summit can be such a great place to farm exotics and gear in general. I recommend it in my streams all the time because you can apply directives which increase the chance for targeted loot to drop, and given that it allows you to choose your own targeted loot, that can greatly increase your chance to obtain the exotic you're wanting. So the general loot pool is pretty easy to understand. Get it anywhere, improve your chances of getting it with targeted loot. The majority of exotics in this pool also have an original drop location where they were first added to, some before targeted loot even existed. And so I believe that for maximum efficiency, farming for them at their original location when the applicable targeted loot is active would increase your chances. I could be wrong on that, but just in case and just so you're aware of these drop locations, let me quickly list them off. For the Coyote's mask, the final bosses of Jefferson Trade Center and the Jupiter Manhunt mission on Roosevelt Island. For the Tardigrade armor system, final bosses of True Sun's main missions. For the Imperial Dynasty, final bosses on cleaner main missions for Warlords of New York, so Conley, Kajika, and Jupiter. For the Acosta's go bag, faction chests out in the open world like hyena ones people used to farm. For the BTSU gloves, the final boss of Camp White Oak. For the Sawyer's Kneepads, final bosses on hyena main missions. For the Ninjabike Kneepads, Dark Zone supply drops. For the Diamondback, you get a guaranteed one the first time you complete all 3 wings of Kentley College. For the Merciless, bosses within hyena main missions. For the Chameleon, bounties. For the Bullet King, final bosses on Riker main missions for Warlords of New York, so Dragov and Parnell. For the Pestilence, the Dark Zone. For the Lady Death, roaming open world bosses in the New York map. And for the Sweet Dreams, bosses within Outcast main missions. So again, those are not the only places you can acquire these items. They can drop from anywhere in the game. However, they are unique, original drop locations, and either farmed on their own or with targeted loot layered on top, you likely stand a much better chance at getting that item than you do normally playing randomly, any other content in the game and hoping for the best. So that is the current list of exotic weapons and items that exist in the general loot pool, and that collection will grow with each new Year 4 season as those items are then added into it as well. Moving on to our next drop source for exotics, unique quests and or projects. There are a select number of exotics which, to acquire them for the first time, you need to complete a specific quest line in order to be rewarded with them. After that, those items will then be placed into the general loot pool that we just talked about for you to collect. But if you're wanting to acquire these for the very first time, then your options are to either have somebody else get it to drop and then share it with you, or complete these specific quests. The exotic weapons and gear that fall under this category are the Ridgeway's Pride, the Dodge City Gunslinger's Holster, the Capacitor, the Nemesis, the Chatterbox, and the Liberty. These items all have a specific sequence of events and projects you need to complete in order to obtain them, and so what I'm going to do is, instead of making this an hour-long video and going through each quest line, I'm going to leave links in the description to videos and creators that I vet and trust who have created comprehensive full guides on how to complete each quest and obtain those items, with one exception, which we will get to in just a moment. So I will say once again, links for the videos on how to complete the quests and obtain the Ridgeway's Pride, the Dodge City Gunslinger's Holster, the Nemesis, the Chatterbox, and the Liberty can be found in the description below. The one I will explain how to get right now is the Capacitor, which isn't really a quest, but it didn't quite fit into the general pool category. It didn't quite fit into the exclusive category that we're going to talk about next. In order to obtain the Capacitor for the very first time on a character, you need to enter the Summit game mode and complete 5 challenges. You can find challenges by opening up your map and tabbing over to the challenge section. There are both tactical and ascent challenges. Completing any 5 of those during your floor 1 through 100 climb will reward you with the Capacitor exotic, and you can see that in the reward track displayed on the right hand side of the challenge tab. Okay, so those are the exotics obtained from quests and projects. Let's now move on to our final category of the exclusives. These are exotic weapons and gear items that, no matter if you've gotten 10 of them or 0, they will only ever drop from that one specific location or type of content, meaning that if you want to acquire them, you're going to have to engage with that specific piece of content. The items in this category are the Bighorn, the Eagle Bearer, the Ravenous, and the Regulus. Let's just go through one by one and break them down, starting with the Bighorn. This exotic AR is exclusive to legendary difficulty content, so any of the 3 final bosses of the existing 3 legendary missions, as well as in the Summit's legendary difficulty, you will only see this item dropping in these locations. Even if you already own one, repeats will not drop anywhere else in the game. The Eagle Bearer exotic AR is exclusive to the Operation Dark Hours raid. It has a 1% chance, I believe, to drop from any of the raid's 4 bosses, and then a 10% chance to drop from the final chest at the end. Same as the Bighorn and everything else in this category, you will only find this gun in one specific location, that being the Dark Hours raid. The Ravenous exotic rifle works the exact same way as the Eagle Bearer, except for the Iron Horse raid. So you've got a 1% chance from each boss in Iron Horse and 10% from the final chest of that raid. And last but not least, the Regulus exotic pistol. You do have to do a quest for this one, so maybe I could have included it in the quest section, but unlike the others, this gun does not enter the general loot pool once you complete the quest, and you are required to do the Iron Horse raid in order to even begin the quest. So in a sense, it's still exclusive to that type of content, but similarly to the exotics in that quest section, I will leave a link in the description to a trusted guide I can refer you to on how to complete the quest and obtain the gun. And there you have it, folks. That is a complete list and guide on how to obtain every exotic item currently in the Division 2. As I said, this will of course expand over the course of year 4. We already know about 3 new exotic items coming into U15, potentially a 4th, but now hopefully you'll begin to understand the methodology behind where they're placed. Whichever 2 come with the season will be exclusive for that season's duration, then enter the general pool. The other one is TBD, but regardless, I hope this helped you get a better grasp on how to acquire exotics in the Division 2 and how that general system works. Or hopefully it at least helped you track down those pesky 1 or 2 that you've been hunting for a long time. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on this collective exotic guide for the Division 2. Do you think I adequately covered everything that somebody would need to know before they go exotic hunting? And what exotics are you out trying to get right now? Whatever you're thinking, let me know. As always, I'll be very curious to read through your thoughts. And yeah, everybody, that's just about going to do it. It's good to be back. Thank you for your patience over the past week where I was absent for a bit, but we're back and swinging, and I'm ready for them to bring on to U15. That's going to do it for today, though, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.